Hello there, folks. My name is Spoonks, and welcome back to another episode of Box Office Chat. This is the show where I break down the top 5 domestic box office results, see where each movie landed, and see how well each movie did. So let's get started. Number 5 was Everything Everywhere All at Once, making $5.5 million this weekend, adding to a domestic total of $35 million and a worldwide total of $38 million. So I'm guessing many of you are pretty surprised or maybe even shocked to see this film back in the top 5, as this is a rarity that usually doesn't really happen all that much. I believe the last time this has happened in the top 5 in this series that I've talked about was, Ron's Gone Wrong back in October of 2021. But this was also pretty significant for this film in two other ways. Not only did this movie manage to make more money than the newest film that released this weekend in theaters, Memory, starring Liam Neeson, but it was actually able to increase by 2% from its previous weekend, which is something that never usually happens. That we're talking something that hasn't happened since Raya and the Last Dragon. That is insane, and the fact that this movie was able to do so and is still doing very well for itself at the box office shows how strong word of mouth is. This movie is really resonating with people, and those people who are seeing it are encouraging others to go check it out, causing it to be quite the sleeper hit at the box office. It has made well over its initial budget of $25 million, and it's said that it is projected to even come as far as becoming the biggest A24 film of all time, maybe even surpassing Uncut Gems starring Adam Sandler, which is incredible, and also very happy. Once again, I've said it many times before, but I love talking about movies like this, movies that usually you would see under the radar and people don't expect much from them when they are discussing the box office, but they manage to overperform and do significantly better than what others would expect. Like me, I certainly wasn't expecting this movie to come back into the top 5, let alone increase from its previous weekend. So this makes me very happy. I'm not sure if it's going to be in the top 5 or if this will ever happen again, but the fact that it was able to accomplish this is still something to celebrate and cheer on. This is a big win for this movie, and a big notable win for just original films in general. The fact that this movie was able to do this and once again increase to the degree it did is something to be proud of. I'm very happy where this film is at, and I look forward to seeing where it goes in the future. Number 4 was The Northman, making $6.3 million this weekend, adding to a domestic total of $22 million and a worldwide total of $41 million. So while it had a pretty decent hold for its second weekend, falling 48%, which isn't a bad hold for your second weekend, as I've stated many times on the show before, it is still not enough to help this movie out, as once again, this movie has a hefty price tag. It costs around $70 to $90 million from reports, and given where it's at, it's definitely going to struggle. It might get a shot at surpassing 70 million worldwide, but in order to be a box office success, you have to at least double that, and I'm not sure if that's going to happen, especially with the summer movie season about to kick off into high gear pretty soon, and with all the competition on the horizon, it's definitely going to be lost in the shuffle from here. So while it still had a week to shine in the top 5, I'm not sure how much longer it's going to last. It may be here for maybe a couple more weeks, but then after, it's probably not going to last very long. So while I appreciate the risk that was taken with releasing this movie, I'm not sure if it was really worth it. Number 3 was Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore, making $8.3 million this weekend, adding to a domestic total of $79 million and a worldwide total of $332 million. So much like The Northman, it was able to have a pretty solid hold this weekend. It fell 40%, which is much better than last weekend's drop-off, that's for sure, but it's still not enough to give this movie the help it needs, because at least with The Northman, while it was a bit of a risk, at least they kept the budget under $100 million. Like I said many times with this movie before, this is a $200 million movie, and it has barely even gotten close to getting to that doubling point of 400 million. It's at 332 million, and it probably will probably get there at the end of its run, but it's going to be a very slow run right now, as word of mouth has not helped this movie out. People have lost interest in this. Reviews were very mixed and all over the place, and it is showing signs of slowing down already. Like I said, it's already made at below $10 million. It made $8 million this weekend, and once again, the summer movie season is about to kick off into high gear, and this movie is definitely going to be one of the movies that get lost in the shuffle. It could get to 100 million domestically and maybe even 400 million worldwide, but that's probably going to be at near the end of its theatrical release, as it's still slacking behind other movies that have done much better and gotten to those milestones quicker. And yeah, this film just continues to overall disappoint at the box office. Number 2 for the third week in a row was Sonic the Hedgehog 2, making 11 million this weekend, adding to a domestic total of 161 million and a worldwide total of 323 million. So last weekend, I discussed how the numbers and Box Office Mojo had very different numbers for the previous film in this franchise, Sonic the Hedgehog, making it a little difficult for me to say or judge if this had not only surpassed the first film, but also was able to become the highest grossing movie based off of a video game of all time. But now, since Sonic the Hedgehog 2 has definitely made more money than the predecessor, I can now safely say that this film is the highest grossing film based off of a video game of all time domestically. Worldwide, it's at number 7. It still has to surpass Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, which it will definitely be able to do so. It's like around 13 million away from that film worldwide, so it's sure to surpass that. And then all in that film's way, this film's way into entering the top 5 is the first Angry Birds movie, which I think will definitely take a little bit longer to surpass, but I think Sonic the Hedgehog 2 has enough in it to get past that total. But still, this film has done incredibly well overall. The fact that it was able to reach this milestone is a huge accomplishment, and to top it all off, just being a huge box office success in general. This has now become the bar for video game movies, which is shocking to believe that it took not only this long, but it took Sonic the Hedgehog to do so, which is quite, once again, incredible and shocking. And once again, this movie has more than doubled its budget of around 90 to 110 million dollars overall. That is a huge accomplishment. It's still the second highest grossing film of the year domestically, 7th highest grossing worldwide, which is still very accomplishing and a very solid total overall. I'm very happy that it's doing as well as it had. It's been doing tremendously well over the past couple of weeks. It will be interesting to see where it goes from this point forward, because even though it is a family film, I feel like this movie is seen more as a blockbuster, given, well, look at the money it's made, and I feel like it might be affected by the many summer movies hitting theaters in the couple weeks. So it will be interesting to see if this will play out like a typical blockbuster or just another kids movie. Will it continue to hold well? I believe so, but I'm also wondering if this will be the point where it doesn't drastically drop off like a Morbius or Fantastic Beast, but maybe if it will start to slow down a bit due to that. But still, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is still doing incredibly well, and I'm satisfied where this film is at right now, and I'm certain many people are as well. It's still Sonic's world, and we're still living in it, sort of. And finally, let's end the video off with the number one movie of the weekend, and that was once again The Bad Guys, making 16 million this weekend, adding to a domestic total of 44 million and a worldwide total of 119 million. So this film had a terrific hold this weekend. It fell 32% from last weekend, which is incredible. Word of mouth is really helping this movie out. Families are checking this movie out and encouraging others to do so as well. That's very good. It has also surpassed 100 million worldwide. That is a very strong indicator for where this movie is headed. All it needs to do right now is double its budget of around 69 to 80 million, which I think it'll be able to do so, because as I said last weekend, there really isn't a whole lot of competition for this movie to face off in terms of family animated movies. It's going to be a very long time until the next one comes out, so this movie has plenty of room to grow. And if this weekend is any indicator for how well this movie will do in the coming weeks, I think it's safe to say that this movie will probably do very well for the next couple months, because even though, as I said numerous times through this video, there are a lot of big blockbusters heading our way very soon for the summer movie season, and even though those will definitely take a bite out of this film's box office, I think this movie will be the least affected by these movies for now, at least until the other big animated movies come out. But as far as just family animated movies, I think this film is in the clear. It's got a lot working for it. Word of mouth is strong, reviews were great, and it's already surpassed its initial budget, and all it needs to do now is double it, which again, I think it will be able to do so. So another solid weekend for The Bad Guys. Looking forward to seeing where it goes from here on out, but as for right now, The Bad Guys is doing pretty good. And those are the top 5 domestic box office results for this weekend, but we're not quite done yet, as we've got another week ahead of us and new movies hitting theaters. And this weekend we have one major new release kicking off the summer movie season, and that is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Obviously, with this being a Marvel movie, it is guaranteed not only going to be the number one movie of the weekend, but also it's going to have a massive opening weekend. Not only is this a sequel to Doctor Strange, a pretty beloved character and an overall movie in the MCU, but this is also off of the success of not only Spider-Man No Way Home, but as well as WandaVision and Loki. All 3 of those MCU products were in some way setting up this big new movie with hints and little details about this proposed multiverse idea, and now this is the culmination of all of it, and we are all very excited and curious to see where that's headed. So that's definitely a factor into how excited everyone is to see this movie, as well as the overall buzz and the marketing, and we'll see how reviews are. At the time of this recording, reviews aren't out yet, but I'm thinking that they're probably going to be just fine, and I don't think they're really going to affect the film's opening weekend. I mean, even Eternals, while it wasn't a huge hit in terms of the MCU at the box office, its opening weekend was still pretty solid given everything, and the movie still made a lot of money. So yeah, I expect a very solid turnout for Doctor Strange, and it's no doubt about it that I think it's going to definitely win the weekend. But we'll see exactly how well this movie does, and as well as the rest of the movies that land in the top 5 on the next Box Office Chat. And that's going to do it for this week's episode of Box Office Chat. What did you all think of the results? Were you satisfied, unsatisfied? Comment down below and let me know. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you like this channel, hit the subscribe button. Follow me on all the social media links right there. And until next time, everyone, stay sharp.